Ever since episode 3, one thing has always bothered me.
だけど神様は意地悪です。ギターを歌わせる才能はくれないのですから。
But why? This scene is kind of implying that Mutsumi isn't good at guitar, but we know that isn't true as her skill has been praised by multiple characters, including Sakiko, who for both her bands tried to collect the most skilled people possible. Uka even said that Mutsume's guitar playing was beyond her level and so she wouldn't be able to fill in for her. So, why does it seem like she's implying that she's bad? I just couldn't figure it out. Until episode 6, that is. Rana is able to make her guitar sing, but Mutsumi can't. So, what's the difference? What is the fundamental divergence between their play that Mutsumi so desperately seeks? Well, gun to my head, if I had to describe Rana's play in one word, it would be intuitive. What do I mean by that? Watching Rana, it's clear that she understands the guitar on a subconscious level. It just makes sense to her. It feels right. She's able to just turn up and play something completely impromptu, legit making it up as she goes, and it sounds like Beethoven dropping his latest meticulously crafted symphony. She's not thinking too deeply about it. She probably has an idea and the notes just flow to her naturally, like a master chef concocting a new menu item. This is best illustrated when she turns up to Maigo's first practice session completely uninvited. Taki tells her that the song has no part for her to play. She takes one look at it and comes up with the perfect part for her to enhance the song. So good in fact that Taki was annoyed that she herself didn't think to create this part for the song in the first place. Or how about when she just casually transitions extremely smoothly a made-up song she was playing on the spot to highlight Tamori's yapping into Chrysik's first song. This is the intuitive play in action, where, on the other hand, Mutsume's play seems to be more of like a refined, conscious approach. You see, I get the impression that how she learned to play the guitar and any of the songs that she knows was by consciously going through the steps rigorously over and over until her execution was flawless. So, if Rana is like a culinary artist playing with the ingredients to create the next Michelin star-worthy meal, then Mutsume is more like a by-the-book chef. She has a recipe that she knows is good, she practices it and follows it to the letter to produce consistently excellent results. So yeah, she can make an absolute banger meal and could maybe even make your clothes explode. But if the restaurant suddenly runs a limited time special menu item, those meals may not be of the quality that you've come to expect, which would explain why she freaked out when she made that mistake on stage due to the mounting stress that she's been under, as she's not good at adapting on the fly to something she hasn't practiced and being able to make that mistake sound like a fine, natural part of the performance, which would give new meaning to when Sakiko said, when I first saw this, I thought Sakiko meant that because Mutsumi is fragile, she's unable to put on a poker face and keep going when she makes a mistake like that on such a big stage. But now with this context, I think what she actually meant was a bit more literal, that the way Mutsumi understands how to play guitar doesn't lend itself to being able to adapt on the spot and make a mistake sound intentional. She has to be able to play it like she played it in practice, or it's just not going to turn out to the standard that she wants it to be. And going all the way back to the beginning, this would also explain why she seems to feel like she was never truly good at guitar, as perhaps she feels that that more intuitive way of playing the guitar is what it means to truly be good. And now at this point while making the video is when episode 7 came out. Originally, I was going to speculate on what may bring Musume back. I thought that Mortis would allow Sakiko to speak to her, and it would be Sakiko's affirmation and need for Musume, not Musume Wakiba, but specifically Musume, that would bring her out of the darkness that she got lost in. And that kind of happened, but in the process, I feel like something very important was lost. That being Sakiko. You see, in the episode, Sakiko is pretty quick to overcome her own demons and just take all the blame in order to reunite with Musume. But I really feel like her demons aren't at all that trivial, and they aren't really at all to do with Musume. Could Sakiko have treated Musume better? Sure, but I don't think the rift between them was caused by her being malicious. In fact, I would go so far as to say all her actions are pretty much reasonable. Sakiko is rightfully extremely overwhelmed. I mean, in episode 1, she's literally homeless. That girl is 15 and she has to shoulder the responsibility of putting food on the table for her severely depressed, crippled alcoholic father. A not insignificant contributor to that depression being the loss of the mother Sakiko loved so deeply that she clings desperately to the one and only memento that she has of her. Because of the effect that it's had on her father, she's basically lost him too. He's nothing like the father that she knew and grew up with. I thought, and I still think, part of the reason that she even made Avamujika in the first place was to help dig them out of that financial ruin that they currently find themselves in. So when that band starts being in jeopardy due to certain members jumping the gun or making careless mistakes, of course, it's going to stress her the out. Not only is it her soul ticket out of the hell that is her current reality, but it's literally the one positive thing that she's got going for her in her life. Like her father said, Sakiko is strong. It's why she's even in a position to make a comeback after all that misfortune. But all of this is incredibly suffocating, and in the end, the worst case scenario happened. She lost the one thing left in this world that could give her any sort of hope for the future, that gave her light or color in her day. And so, she finally gave up. She let fate win and accepted her reality, going back to her grandfather to become nothing but a passenger in her own life, as she soullessly goes through the motions with no passion left. So, for her to just accept all the blame for Musume and everybody moving on like that's just how it is, that just doesn't at all do her justice, I think. I mean, her situation was so wretched and bleak that I truly thought the episode was coming where she would try to kill her, rhyming poetically with how she first met Tamori. And I thought, just like poetry, this time it would be Tamori who saved her, perhaps following her after being worried about her declining mental state and managing to stop her from committing a terrible mistake. Having witnessed her at her weakest moment, Sakiko no longer has to put forward a strong front and could just lay it all bare for Tamori to hear. It would be tough, emotional, and tears may even be shed, but finally talking to someone instead of just bearing the weight of the world all by herself, I think it would make her feel just a little bit better. Then, perhaps even Sakiko's father would have heard about her attempt to take her life. Maybe seeing it on the news from people filming the situation. I mean, the famous Oblivious trying to take her life shortly after the famed Avamujika band disbanded. I can easily see that ending up on the news. Seeing that he nearly lost the only thing that he has left in this world would surely be the wake-up call he needs to get his shit together. So, when Sakiko comes home, he would greet her. There would be no words, only a hug. A warm embrace that Sakiko hasn't felt in so long that she probably barely even remembers it. "I'm sorry," he would say. "You were always so strong. I didn't realize that you were hurting too." Sakiko would cry, receiving comfort from the father that she thought she had long lost. The two would sit, talk about their mother, what happened at work, what happened with the band, everything. Licking each other's wounds, making up for months of lost time. At the end of it all, agreeing to both give life one more shot and to do their best together. It would be at this point now, having dealt with her own demons that are completely unrelated to Musume, that I think it would be a good time for Sakiko to meet up with her. Now with her new resolve to fix what has been broken, I feel like it would just feel a lot more natural for what happened in episode 7 to occur. They can now make up while still doing Sakiko's side of the story justice, and they can have that touching reunion with Chrysik after coming together to meet Tamori and update her on what happened after Sakiko went home that day. I feel like that would be a really nice message to end on, that no matter how tough things get, no matter how much it feels like your whole world is crumbling around you, there are always people who care for you, and even if it's just one person, let them give you the strength to keep going and find that light at the end of the tunnel. That's just my thoughts, and I still like the episode, of course. I just feel like there was an opportunity missed, and I wanted to highlight what I felt was a really important part of the story. Someone doing their best in extremely shitty circumstances.